Aaron tried to fine me $500 for having the wrong color flower pot, but now she is the one paying thousands in legal fees. The entire neighborhood knows why. If you've ever dealt with an HOA nightmare or a petty neighbor drama, drop a comment with your country or state. Let's see how many of us have survived a Karen. When my wife and I finally saved enough to buy our first home, we thought we were moving into a dream neighborhood. Willow Hill looked like it was straight out of a postcard. Kids played outside until dusk. Lawns were neatly trimmed, and neighbors smiled and waved at each other. The HOA fees were steep, sure, but we were told they covered maintenance and helped preserve the community vibe. What we didn't know was that we were also buying into a neighborhood with an unofficial enforcer, Karen. We met her within a week of moving in. She approached us while we were unpacking and immediately launched into a monologue about the HOA rules. She wasn't a board member, but she carried a clipboard and quoted bylaws like scripture. We tried to be polite. The first real clash happened 2 weeks in, when we placed a vibrant blue ceramic flower pot on our front porch. It was a housewarming gift from my sister, and we thought it looked nice. But apparently, Karen didn't. She stormed up to us one afternoon with a printed section of the community guidelines. Highlighting a vague clause about exterior decor colors, she claimed the pot didn't comply and that we'd receive a fine if it was removed in 7 days. I laughed it off. Surely the HOA had better things to do. But the notice arrived in our mailbox days later, a $500 fine for a non-compliant decorative item, and Karen's name was CCD at the bottom. That's when I realized she had influence. Over the next month, she cited us for having solar lights that were too bright, a seasonal wreath that lingered a week past Thanksgiving, and even for our recycling bin being visible on a non-pickup day. I noticed that other houses had similar setups but weren't targeted. That's when I started documenting everything: photos, emails, video from our doorbell camera. I wasn't just annoyed anymore. I was preparing for a fight. When I finally reached a member of the actual HOA board, he sighed and said, "She does this to everyone new." Turns out, Karen had a long history of harassing neighbors with bogus citations and unofficial warnings, but no one had ever stood up to her. That changed with me. I formally appealed the $500 fine, attaching all the evidence I'd collected: photos of similar flower pots at other homes, documentation that our solar lights were within approved brightness limits, and timestamps proving our wreath was removed on time. Most importantly, I had video proof of Karen trespassing onto our property to take pictures without permission. The HOA quietly reversed the fine, but Karen wasn't done. She escalated, claiming I was targeting her and that my camera was an invasion of her privacy. That's when I lawyered up. My attorney drafted a CSAN desist letter, citing harassment, defamation, and misrepresentation of HOA authority. I also filed a formal complaint with the HOA and reached out to other neighbors. To my surprise, they were eager to talk. I wasn't alone. Karen had been terrorizing the neighborhood for years, preying on people who didn't know the rules well enough to fight back. We formed a small coalition and compiled a 40-page dossier of her behavior. Letters, photos, and statements from multiple families. At the next HOA meeting, we presented everything. Karen showed up like she always did, clipboard in hand, smirking, but her expression changed quickly when she realized the room wasn't on her side. Our lawyer laid out the facts calmly and clearly. Karen tried to speak, but the board shut her down. They voted unanimously to suspend her from any HOA-related activities and launched an internal investigation. But it didn't stop there. Karen hired her own lawyer and tried to sue for character defamation. That backfired spectacularly. In mediation, she was forced to settle and ended up paying over $5,000 in legal fees. As for me, my legal costs were covered by the settlement. Today, my blue flower pot still sits proudly on our porch, and Karen, she walks the long way around our house. She doesn't make eye contact, doesn't wave, doesn't speak. The clipboard is gone. The HOA even sent out a new community letter clarifying that only official board members could issue citations. All it took was one person to say, "Enough." So if you're dealing with a Karen like this, document everything, build your case, and stand your ground. Bullies only win when we let them.